Yes. Oh, thank you very much for having me and for the kind invitation. I'm very glad to be here, and I hope you can see me and hear me and see my slides. My name is Salah Foraida. I work for TB Alliance, and TB Alliance is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to the discovery, development, and delivery of better, faster-acting, and affordable TB drugs for all patients globally. Um, and please let me know if there is if you have any problems um, hearing or seeing my slides. Um, Very quickly, we developed pretomanid for the treatment of drug-resistant TB, and this started with this clinical trial, Nix-TB, um, which was published in the New England Journal of Medicine in March 2020. And back then, the success rate for treatment of drug-resistant TB was 50%, but in this study, as you can see, 90% of patients had favorable outcome with the BPaL regimen, which is bedaquiline, pretomanid, and linezolid. And this was in 2020, 6 years ago. And by the way, based on this clinical trial, we got the FDA approval from the US FDA and the European Medicine Agency approval as well. And we now have, we are now approved in more than 60 countries across the globe. In this study, we also followed up patients for 2 years after end of treatment to make sure that there is no relapses or recurrences of the disease, and 90% of patients with drug-resistant TB remained healthy 2 years after end of treatment. We did another study. The other study is called ZeNix study, and this study was to confirm the results of the previous study and to make sure that the linezolid being used can be reduced, the dose can be reduced. In this study, as you can see, again, almost 90% or 89%, 89.3% had favorable outcome across the different doses of linezolid. We used 600 milligram or 1200 milligram of linezolid together with bedaquiline and pretomanid, as you may know. And this study confirmed the results of the previous study. And here you can see the different doses of linezolid with their high dose of 1,200 milligram or lower dose of 600 milligram. All patients were converted to negative culture after 6 months of treatment, as you can see in this slide. So the results of this study, which is ZeNix, confirmed the high success rate. So 90% of patients treated with this regimen will be cured. A third study, which was not conducted by us, was conducted by our partners, MSF, or Doctors Without Borders. And this one was to confirm the use of the BPaLM regimen. In this study, they used BPaLM. They added moxifloxacin. In our studies, we did not add moxifloxacin. It was only bedaquiline, pretomanid, and linezolid for 6 months as well. And in this study was published in the Lancet in 2023. And the sponsor was Doctors Without Borders. And as you can see in these slides, the BPaLM regimen was also almost around 90%. This is 88.3% of patients treated with bedaquiline, pretomanid, linezolid, and moxifloxacin had favorable outcome. They were cured by end of treatment, 6 months of treatment. Based on these 3 clinical trials, the WHO recommended the BPaLM two regimens, BPaLM, bedaquiline, pretomanid, linezolid, and moxifloxacin, or BPaL without the moxifloxacin, as the standard of care to treat any drug-resistant TB. And this is now the standard recommendation by the WHO guidelines. And this means that any patient 14 years and older, because now the approval is 14 years and older, we are now doing clinical trials in children and pediatric population below the age of 14 to make sure that the regimen can expand to younger population. And these regimens now are the standard or the programmatic recommendation for any program across the globe by the WHO. And this was released in December of 2022. All these countries now can benefit from this, especially with the high burden of drug-resistant TB, and this is more than 500,000 people every year in the globe. And you can see that the name of countries, and Bangladesh is one of them, as you can see in this slide. Just to show some other evidence from other countries, in India, they did their own clinical trial, and this was published in August 2024 about the effectiveness of the BPaL regimen. They had 3 arms and 403 patients, and in all arms, the success rate was in 90%, 93 or 94 or 93, and this was conducted not by us, by TB Alliance. It was conducted by the ICMR, the India Center for Medical Research, and it confirmed the 90% success rate. This is other countries as well. We did in Indonesia, Kyrgyzstan, Myanmar, Philippines, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, and Vietnam. In all countries, the total of 560 patients in this big operation research. And as you can see here, the success percentage is always around 90%. The overall was 92%. So this is to confirm that in all countries that we did clinical trials in it, the success rate was around 90% in these countries. This is also other publications from Moldova, from the United States. You can see these links. In the US, any patients with drug-resistant TB is being treated with BPaL-M regimen, sometimes with Moxi and sometimes without Moxi. And also the success rate is published in many publications. Some of the challenges for rapid implementation of the regimen, very quickly here, sometimes there is no stock of older drugs, or there is stock of older drugs other than BPaL-M, and this could be solved by cost-effectiveness analysis to decide the repurposing or destruction. Sometimes pretomanid is not available, and this can be done by GDF request early. And sometimes the national program is not ready. There is some assistance from PeerLink and other. We can, if we can help by any means, and then sometimes the delays in the guidelines, and this could be helped by technical assistance. These are some of the challenges. Also, clinicians may have limited knowledge, but I think now it's available, and publications are already available. Some low numbers of labs that can do the drug sensitivity testing, and this is could be the solution could be by have some labs and referral symptoms. our systems, and lack of patient support. This could be by help by trainings and community help. Some other challenges you can see here. I'm trying to be very quick here, and just to give you an idea that uh, we just presented 2 months ago another clinical trial, and the objective of that trial was to replace bedaquiline with a new generation of bedaquiline, which is called sulfaquiline or 876. And this study was just presented 2 months ago, and it showed that the new regimen, the new sulfaquiline, which will replace bedaquiline in few years, hopefully, will be even better and shorter than the BPaL regimen. So we are aiming to decrease the duration of treatment from 6 months to 4 months, but we will show more of this results in the future. But what we presented um, 2 months ago at the Union in Denmark was that we compared the BPaL regimen, which is now the standard of care, with sulfaquiline, 3 doses of sulfaquiline with pretomanid and linezolid in drug-sensitive population, so not even in drug-resistant population, and compared it with the HRZE, and also compared the BPaL with HRZE in drug-sensitive population, and we compared them for 8 weeks and 15 weeks, and the results that you can see here, the new drug, which is sulfaquiline, was 98% after 4 months. This is week 15, 4 months, compared to BPaL, which was great as well, 92%, and HRZE was at 82%. So even in the future, this regimen with the sulfaquiline, the new drug replacing bedaquiline, can even be used in drug-sensitive TB, but this will be in the future, in like 3 or 4 years from today. The safety was very good compared to HRZE. What I want to say is the BPaL-M regimen is now the standard of care in drug-resistant TB in all countries, recommended by WHO, used in many countries for drug-resistant TB. In the future, sulfaquiline will replace bedaquiline in this regimen, and we also hope that it can be used in shorter duration, 4 months or even less, as a universal regimen, not only in drug-resistant TB, but also in drug-sensitive TB. I was very quick, trying to save time, and thank you very much for the invite. Before I end this, I wanted to give special thanks to all the patients who participated in our clinical trials, the investigators and the donors, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any questions related to the BPaL regimen, and this is my email. And again, very pleased to be here. Thank you so much for the kind invitation, and thank you. So I'm sorry, but I have difficulty hearing. But if the question is about the fluoroquinolone resistance, in our clinical trials, we never used moxifloxacin. So we think that BPaL is enough. However, the WHO and other countries, the recommendation now is to use moxifloxacin if the patient is sensitive to fluoroquinolones. And when the DST, the drug sensitivity testing results come back, and you find out that the patient is resistant to fluoroquinolone, you can drop moxi. So the current recommendation is start with BPaL-M and drop moxi if there is evidence of resistance. or continue with moxi if the patient is sensitive. In our clinical trials, we never used moxifloxacin because we believe that BPaL is enough by itself.
Thank you for answering the first question. My second question, actually, this is what we are facing practically. Actually, say for example, when we do XDR test, some of our patients are quinolone resistant and ionis resistant, but not MDR. So that we are facing a bit challenge how to treat this kind of patient. And
so the patient is resistant.
I would like to have your opinion in this regard.
So you say the patient is resistant to fluoroquinolone and INH. Yeah, that's BPaL, like BPaL. We only use 3 drugs in all our clinical trials. BPaL. Doctors Without Borders, they added moxifloxacin. WHO added moxifloxacin. Even in India, they treated 400 patients in their clinical trial without moxifloxacin, and it was successful. So I think my opinion and TB Alliance opinion is 3 drugs is enough. BPaL is enough, especially if you have evidence that a patient has resisted to moxi. Sorry, no, I see you.
So, Salah, I think the question is not clearly understood. I say the patient is ionis resistant and quinolone resistant, but all other drugs are sensitive. Do you understand?
So, yeah, INH, isoniazide resistant, right?
Yeah, and quinolone resistant. Yeah.
You can use you can use BPaL because isoniazide is we consider it drug resistant. So if it's resistant to,
thank you very much.
Yeah,
that's what my view also. But
yes,
but still this need to be this recommendation should come from WHO as well, because WHO recommendation in this line is not very clear actually.
Yeah, they describe it as rifampicin resistant, but what you it's INH resistant. It is considered drug resistant as well. We will use BPaL for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, I have the question about the what's your next plan or initiatives from your end, the TB Alliance in our country, about the capacity building issues. And I have already you have already shown in your slides there's some as usual things that are constraints in many countries, and so you have some probable solutions. And to expand their solutions, what's the next plan or strategies from your end to implement this in our countries? Because we have many difficulties about the capacity building issues and the another issues to implement the BPaL and BPaLM regimen to all our doctor communities. And another things, we to increase our diagnostic capacity, we need more gene expert cartridges to evaluate or to test our population and to identify the all MDR cases to implement our BPaL or BPaLM regimen. Thank you from my side. Please tell from your side what's the initiatives or the strategies that is coming up, and we NTP, National Tuberculosis Program, we align with that kinds of activities along with our partner NGOs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Akshaya can tell you more about this because we have some initiatives on training for countries.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Salah, and thank you so much to the NTP officials and Narimetri team for giving us an opportunity to talk about the work that we've been doing here at TB Alliance, and also to share our experiences from the clinical trials and what's coming up next in our pipeline. But just to quickly answer the question on capacity building, one way in which we actually work with countries and NTPs across the globe is through a PeerLink network. Salah briefly spoke about this, but PeerLink is a network that has been established by TB Alliance, which helps countries and NTPs across the globe for capacity building at national, at sub-national level. And under PeerLink, we had actually done one round of in-person training for Bangladesh NTP last year. But I believe there has been changes in the NTP since then. But there was this week-long training that was done in Manila last year. And I believe most of the national level staff and key officials had attended that training. But over and above those kind of supports, we also work very closely with NTPs to continue to give remote and virtual, as well as, if there is a way to sort of collaborate on in-person capacity buildings at subnational level as well. What I can do, sir, is post this meeting, we can schedule another call with my PeerLink team members, who can then further discuss on a plan in terms of how TB Alliance and our PeerLink network can support the Bangladesh NTP in capacity building at the subnational level, and really support your officials for taking BPaLM access to the last mile to patients. Diagnostics is something that we do not specifically work with. TB Alliance's work is especially, and as well as the Fast Track to the Cure initiative that we work, where we work closely with the community partners, is centered around increasing and improving access to treatment. Diagnostics, not so much. There are other partners who work extensively in that space. But having said that, I'd be more than happy to have a follow-up conversation with the community partners at the ground level in Bangladesh, as well as with the PeerLink network on the subnational capacity building for sure. So I will take it up in the coming weeks and schedule a call soon. Thank you. I hope that answers the question, unless there are any follow-up questions on that. Thank you.
Salah Foraida, can you hear me?
Yes, this is perfect.
Yes. As chairman of this stakeholders consultation meeting, I must thanks to you and your colleague Aksha Patil for the discussion about the global impact of BPaL and sorfiquilin. This is, I think it is medical term. So thank you very much for your knowledge sharing on that issue. I think that you presented some information here. This treatment, which expanding on the BPL, I think it is still running in our country. And you presented some report in various countries that will be more successful for the patients that you have intended to this treatment. And you have presented some challenges that would be very helpful for us, and that will be very helpful for us. And also, we all of us here benefited for your presentation. And I think that this presentation you have shared with us, it will disseminate our all stakeholders. And I think this treatment is under trial. And I think that in Bangladesh, it's need to be capacity building for all the institutions that we have implemented on the on that issues that who are affected with tuberculosis. I think what you have discussed in this your presentations, in various countries, this treatment, what it is running, it also success story in other countries. I hope that this research will be helpful for Bangladesh, that will be more success in future. Thank you again on behalf of us, of the participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate the kind invite from Bangladesh National Program for TB, and thank you for giving us the chance to be part of this and to share our knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.